The course did not liquidate the Russians. In Russia itself, there are also plans to eliminate as many men as possible. The country has an official year-round draft. On National Unity Day in Russia, Gundyayev declared that he loves Ukraine, and Putin said he wants friendship with the whole world. In the Belgorod region, a maniac is on the loose who escaped from the Russian army. Mizulina and Shaman got married in temporarily occupied Donetsk. Meanwhile, Gurulev insists that it would take Russia only half an hour to deal with Ukraine. And don't miss the incredible special operation to rescue a wounded Ukrainian defender. Hello everyone, my name is Eva Nikolashvili and this is the program In Trend. Like and subscribe, because we're getting started. We'll start today's episode with some good news. And strangely enough, it comes from Sudan. There, rebels shot down a Russian Ilyushin 76 military transport plane. 76? The plane's crew consisted exclusively of Russians, and as the social media pages say, they all went to Kobzon's concert. At last, the action has reached all Russians.
You know, when everything is calm here, measured and stable, when things are predictable, we often get bored. It's a kind of stagnation, a lack of excitement, and we naturally want some action, some change. And
we're not talking about friendly drones, but about another new reality. It concerns men more. Now, in Russia, the draft is year-round. Putin signed the corresponding law just the other day. It's very symbolic that this happened on the so-called Unity Day. The law allows citizens of the country to be drafted into military service throughout the entire calendar year, from January 1st to December 31st. According to the new document, military enlistment officers will be able to send out letters of happiness every day starting January 1st, 2026. If currently the validity period of electronic draft notices is unlimited, then starting January 1st, a Russian citizen must report to the enlistment office. No later than 30 days from the date the electronic draft notice is posted in the state register. Speaking of National Unity Day, it was held in the traditional Russian style, full of patriotic spirit. For example, in Novorossiysk, a festival was held in honor of the holiday. The main theme was providing support to the Russian army. The military equipment center Spetskurs stood out in particular. They dragged it all to the festival. A booth with a model of a wounded, bloodied soldier nicknamed Gosha with a torn-off foot. I'll give you a second to process what's happening. I can't show it. YouTube doesn't allow that. I'll just say that the model looked pretty terrifying.
So look, a person was just walking by, saw this situation, and wasn't afraid, even though he was wearing white clothes. That's just a minor detail. But Gosha really does have a serious chance. So do everything the right way.
But just having the almost torn apart Gosha there wasn't enough. People in uniform were walking around the model, calling children over to provide first aid. Some really tried to do something, but many little kids just cried and ran away, while their parents tried to quickly take them off the site, according to eyewitnesses. The organizers themselves from the Special Course Military Equipment Center insist that everything went great and the children participated actively. I have no doubt that many of these children will soon be actively participating in sessions with a psychologist. Unity Day also gave rise to the Toad of Gadyuking. It turned out that there isn't even unity in the Russian Foreign Ministry's congratulatory message. And the message itself greatly outraged the Z patriots. All because the message didn't include an Orthodox cross, but did feature a mosque and a Buddhist temple. Religious unity turned out to be an empty shell even the day before. At that time, the chief rabbi of Russia and the mufti of Chechnya even got into a spat. All because the latter called Jews almost the offspring of the devil. The chief rabbi of Russia was outraged. And on Unity Day itself, there was a lot of hypocrisy. How could there not be in the swamps? Gundyayev was especially notable for his hypocrisy. The Patriarch declared that he prays for Ukraine. We
pray for Ukraine. We love Ukraine very much. The Ukrainian people are very close to me. Because when I was the rector at the Leningrad Theological Academy, for some reason the Soviet authorities forbade admitting young men from Ukraine to the seminary. Well, they were afraid of all sorts of influences and so on. The only place where Ukrainians were admitted was the Leningrad Theological Seminary of the Academy. And now most priests, especially in Western Ukraine, in Ternopil, Lviv, the Orthodox ones, I think, still hold fond memories.
Putin was no less hypocritical himself. On the so-called National Unity Day, he showed off in the company of children. This time, he didn't kiss anyone on the belly. He also claimed that Russia supposedly seeks friendship and cooperation with everyone, not just with its neighbors, but with all peoples on Earth.
All the difficulties, problems and tragedies of today, and unfortunately there are quite a few, will be met with such impulses from us, from Russia, because we strive for friendship and cooperation with everyone, not only with our neighbors, but with all peoples on Earth. And I am very grateful to our foreign friends who are present here and who, by their very presence, confirm a belief that this is exactly what Russia is striving for, and that together with us, they are ready to pursue this goal.
The funniest thing is that this statement was made at a state awards ceremony in the Kremlin, where Pinya awarded, among others, the developers of the Burevestnik missile and the Poseidon underwater vehicle. You can really see the desire for friendship.
To thank you and all the scientific, the production labor collectives, which means tens of thousands of people, participated in the creation of this powerful, effective, and unique weapon. The result you have achieved is, without exaggeration, of historic significance for our people, for ensuring security and strategic parity for decades to come. It is safe to say for the entire 21st century.
Of course, Pinya didn't miss the chance to once again boast about his superweapons. According to the bald old man, the speed of the Poseidon is several times greater than that of all modern surface ships, and the Burevestnik has surpassed all known missile systems in the world in terms of range. And the Rechnik is also incredible, and Russia has begun mass production of this system. The dictator is also proud of the Sarmat. Putin reports that systems with this missile will be put on combat duty as early as next year. To understand that this is all nonsense, it's enough to know that Pinya has already put the Sarmat missile on combat duty several times. In February 2023, he claimed that the Sarmat was already on duty. In the summer of 23, he assured that it would be on duty soon. And in February 2024, he insisted again. The first serial missiles are already with the troops. I suggest renaming Sarmat to Saramat. That name somehow fits better. And here's another interesting detail about Putin. Evidence has emerged that the Kremlin quite often passes off pre-recorded meetings with Vladimir Putin as recent ones. Such recordings are called preserves. They are released on days when the bunker dweller doesn't actually appear in public. To avoid getting caught, the Kremlin asks officials to dress the same way on the day of recording and the day of publication. Most likely, on the day the video is released, the officials who participated in the recording also appear at other events, publicly and in real time. But the details gave everything away. Journalists have found several such examples. For example, Putin's meeting with the head of the Agency for Strategic Initiatives, Svetlana Chubcheva. According to journalists, the recording date was no later than February 25th, while the publication date was April 9th. Chubcheva's appearance is almost identical, but the earrings gave it away. Other giveaways in these pre-recorded videos include, for example, books. The arrangement of books on Putin's shelf constantly changes without any logic. Sometimes the books are in their places, then they disappear for several days, and then the old arrangement returns, accurate to the centimeter. Pens and pencils also gave Putin away. At Putin's second meeting with Svetlana Chubcheva in September 2025, the writing utensils on the president's desk were arranged exactly the same as at the meeting with Rodionova in October. Almost a month and a half and 9 other events in the Kremlin office took place between these two meetings. And each time, the pens and pencils were arranged differently, except at these two meetings. Why do you think the Kremlin often releases pre-recorded footage? Is it simply because Putin is afraid that no one should know where he is, or is there another reason? Share your thoughts in the comments and also let us know which country you're watching from and whether people there support the Ukrainians' fight against the empire of evil. I read all the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything interesting.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Meanwhile, there's a maniac on the loose in the Belgorod region, and just so you know, it's a Russian soldier. He deserted from the so-called special military operation and is now terrorizing the Belgorod region. Locals are panicking and afraid to go outside. The deserter maniac's name is Alexei Kostrikin. He has a typical background for the new Russian elite, a criminal one. In 2002, he committed his first serious crime, a gang rape of a woman. In 2007, he was convicted of robbery and armed assault. In 2016, for a drug-related crime. As for his recent crimes, first Kostrikin broke into a house in Novaya Tavoljanka, killed a local resident and raped his wife. After that, he fled, abandoning the stolen car. Later, he killed again, a local resident who had come to check on his house and ran into the escaped soldier. Kostrikin knows the area well since he used to be a guide and led Russian soldiers along bypass trails. Now he is using that knowledge for himself. They have been unable to catch him for almost a week now. And now, about another Russian hero. In Tomsk, a Wagner mercenary received a suspended sentence for robbing a bank. The Russian justice system considered this a mitigating circumstance. We're talking about the 37-year-old Wagner mercenary Alexei Budarin. He committed the robbery back in 2017, but his involvement in the crime was only established in 2024. During the robbery, the man stole almost 7.5 million Russian rubles, as well as 3,000 each, in dollars and euros. 3,000 each, in dollars and euros. He used this money to buy himself property. In 2022 to 2023, he fought as part of the Wagner PMC, was wounded, and received a medal for bravery. In December 2024, he was detained, admitted his guilt, and expressed remorse. And now the verdict has been delivered. The court considered his participation in the war with Ukraine and the medal he received as mitigating circumstances and gave him a suspended sentence. It seems that even the shaman and Mizulina decided to join the military crowd. You won't believe it, but they actually got married. What's more, they had a military-themed wedding in temporarily occupied Donetsk. They came to the local registry office dressed in khaki. I wish for your marriage to be mutual, voluntary, and strong. I would like to ask the groom to respond.
Yes.
I would like to ask the bride to respond.
Yes. And
They even turned this into a cheap stage TV series. It looks absolutely disgusting. 3 days have already passed, and now, after almost 4 years of full-scale war, in Russia they claim they can solve everything in 30 minutes. It was Gurulyov who spouted this nonsense, and of course, Yaderko could help with that. We
aren't even talking about the fact that, well, probably, if we wanted to and with our capabilities, the entire Ukrainian conflict could be resolved in 30 minutes. And that would be the end of it. There won't be anything else. A few people will talk, and it will all seem great. And here people tell me, you can't use nuclear weapons because of Armageddon. But unfortunately, it's non-professionals who say this. Many people don't understand what tactical nuclear weapons are, or what strategic nuclear weapons are. And right now, we're only talking about strategic weapons.
Speaking of weapons, Ukraine now has an interceptor for Shaheds, and it has already proven its effectiveness over several months. The UAV is called Sting. A team of developers worked on it for over a year. And after hundreds of tests and dozens of trips to the front, domestic engineers managed to create a mass-produced, simple and affordable Shahed interceptor. According to the engineers themselves, in 4 months of serial production, Ukraine's defenders have shot down with this Sting more than 1,000 Shaheds and Garans. Deploying such a system takes only 15 minutes, after which the drone launches from any flat surface without a catapult, gains altitude in seconds, and then catches up with and attacks the Shahed. And finally, let's talk about the incredible special operation to rescue a wounded Ukrainian defender. His comrades managed to evacuate him from a village occupied by the Russians using ground-based robotic systems. The soldier held out for 33 days, and his comrades made 7 attempts to save him. The evacuation route was a total of 64 kilometers, of which 37 were covered by the vehicle with a damaged wheel. The mission lasted about 6 hours, during which the robot managed to hit a mine and came under a drone attack. Despite everything, the armored capsule held up, and our defender is now alive and undergoing scheduled treatment.